Imagine the insurance industry in a world where everything has gone digital. How does it work and who are the main actors? Welcome to this podcast where we explore innovation and corporate training in insurance and banking industries. We interviewed Thomas Steiger, head of distribution at Zurich Insurance, to learn more about insurance in the digital age. I'm Philip, co-founder of the Engage Institute. We offer innovative training solutions for insurance companies worldwide. Do you struggle to capture and share the knowledge of your experts? Contact us. We'll record engaging interviews with them for you to share. Now, join me as we delve deeper into today's topic together. Today on the show, I have the great pleasure to welcome Thomas Steiger. Hi, Thomas. How are you doing?
I feel fine. Perfect.
It's been a long time since the last time we saw each other back in Zurich, huh?
Yeah, it's about 7, 8, 9 years, I guess.
Must be. So I'm really excited to talk about insurance and distribution with you. Thomas, you're the head of distribution for a large insurance company, Zurich Insurance. And let's jump in it right away. What is distribution in insurance?
A distribution is to bring services like advice to our customer that they can understand their risks where they're in, and that they also can find coverages where we transfer mostly financial risks to our balance sheet to create a brighter future for our customers. This is distribution, how we provide this process to customers that they can make the right choices for their life.
Could I summarize for someone who's not for insurance? Is that also basically sales? It's selling insurance, right?
Yes, it's your, if you define the process, or first is your acquisition customers or find customers, or that customers find you. This is the first step. Or second one is to advise them that they really understand what their situation in life is, their wishes, or in the company, but also their risk. At the end is to provide a solution or an offer how they can cover this risk, so want to bear this risk, or also for prevention. Third one is to quote and close a contract. And last but not least, the most important one is to build up a relationship with customers, because it starts or ends not with the sale or starts with the sale. It starts with creating a relationship. Insurance is all about trust. And the big difference to other industries is insurance is really boring. Nobody likes insurance.
Oh, you think so?
I don't have friends that come to me Saturday evening, drink a glass of red wine, and want to talk about that great household insurance or life insurance or whatever. Or it's something for most of the people, they don't like it. They know it's necessary, it's important. And this combination makes distribution very special for insurance companies like Zurich, and is a big differentiator to other services or products you sell.
So how did you end up basically in insurance if it's such an unsexy industry initially?
This was many years ago. I started as a sales agent. My first steps in insurance, starting selling insurance policies. And the pitch for that was, look, this is a great industry. You earn a lot of money and you don't have to work a lot. Huh? Both was not really true, but it was a good sales. So I came into the industry, and yeah, I like it. The industry, to work with the people in the industry and with the customers. And this is the main reason I stayed now for more than 30 years in the insurance industry.
Wow, 30 years and 12 years with Zurich Insurance.
No, it's more than 12 years. I was 10 years working for Zurich. Then I went to a consulting company for 3 years, and then I rejoined. At least 10 and 12, it went 22 or 23 years now.
Oh, wow.
And this is more really, there's a lot of insurance companies worldwide. I was working in Hong Kong, in the US, in Germany, in Austria, in Singapore. But Zurich is a company, for me, it was so love at first sight. We can separate sometimes, we go back to the company.
So what do you actually do in that company? With your nice title, what does that really mean?
So as a head of an insurance, first of all, is you create a vision together with your salespeople. We work with several sales channels together, as from agents. This is the main channel in Switzerland. Depends a little bit per country. Country have different DNAs in distribution. Southern countries do a lot about bank distribution brokers. Northern countries more about agents, tied or multi-tied agents, but also brokers and banks are. But the first is to create a vision with your people. Means your people's distribution, people's vision. Where do you want to go for? What do you want to stay? This is the most important part to start, because if the people don't know for what they really are standing in the company, it's difficult to motivate them, to engage them, and to go the extra mile for customers. Second was to defining, after we created this vision a few years ago, after turnaround, really to define what are our key success factors. So what is really the differentiator per channel where we do a differentiation to our competitors, and how can we serve our customers better? As we defined these key success factors, we went down into really an operational program. How can we execute on this? Although one example, the 4 key success factors for our agent was personality, was number for the customer face time, number of appointments with customers, was advice. We want to do a comprehensive advice, not just selling a product, and know-how. Because what I mentioned at the beginning, insurance is boring for people, so they want to get some advice and they need an expert of this topic. So
Now, you speak about these 4 KPIs, but just to challenge you a little bit, isn't that the same KPIs other companies have? They all want to give advice. What's the difference in what you mentioned?
the big difference or in insurance. So we had a vision. Our vision that the people created was we want to be closest to customers, create a unique customer relationship with the best distribution unit in terms of reliability, in terms of advice, and in terms of insurance know-how. And this was a little bit the driver. Insurance is really strong transactional business. We're selling products, car products, household products, life products, and the transactional business, transactional customers, they don't stay as long as relationship customers. And this was a starting point. We made an analysis where we found out that customers with 2, 3, or 4 insurance products, they stand longer with Zurich as customer with only 1 product. So this means to develop our transactional customers to relationship customers. This means more than just selling a few more products. Also, it starts with the trust to an advisor. And this is the key success factor, personality. If you don't have an advisor you really trust, you don't go really the more relevant products like life or retirement planning or something like this. Or second one is customer face time. Insurance is still a lot of administration, and you can work all day without seeing one customer. Quite easy. But you make the difference if you talk to customers, if you listen to customers. So this was the second one, that we started really to measure the number of relevant customer interactions. Third one was that if you are with a customer together, don't go just to renew a product or sell a product. Really start to do a structured advice process that you understand the wishes and needs, and then go into discussion in a life planning with the customer. What is really an existential risk? What is a property risk? What are financial risks? And how could you cover them? And last but not least, of course, also upskill our agents from pure product sales into more relevant topics like house buying, mortgage, life, retirement planning, but also the same space, of course, in terms of SME. And this transferred in a program, also with the digital part below as an enabler. This makes the difference what we see at the moment in the market development, as our market performance, but also in our customer performance, how we develop TNPS, customer feedbacks, and all these things on that we see now really the impact of the investments of the past 5 years.
So just for me to understand, for example, for one of your insurance advisors, how much time do they have really face time versus admin time?
We made right now a complete analysis, and of course the face time is still too low. We still have too much admin time. And just that you get a picture, we have in Switzerland about 1,200 agents, and 10% of the FTE, of the full-time equivalent of the work time they have, they just drive around 10%. Because they're visiting customers. And when imagine just to optimize this 10%, that they perhaps drive only 60 or 70 FTs, you increase your productivity by 2.5% for customer face time. And this is where we are working on. We define now with an AI engine on the back, an automated appointment planning, where take into account the customer need or the customer potential what we have. Then the concrete case, yes, perhaps renewal of a household contract, something like this. And then take this into account with an anchor appointment the agent has, and that he has to drive less, that the customers are closer when he does his customer visits. So this is just one simple point. Second one is, of course, also that we build now a solution for more meetings that he can do on a digital way. Also virtual meetings, not really all physical meetings.
Like Zoom, Teams, etc.
Exactly, to save time, but also according to a framework. And we say we want to deepen the relationship. Also, if you don't have a relationship with the customer, we want the agents to visit them physically because you deepen the relationship physically, if the customer wants, of course.
Yeah.
And second one is the relevance, if it's really relevant for the customer. A complex case like buying a house, life insurance, then we want also to see him. But if it's just to enter data into a system for a claim, a simple case, that's important for the customer, but not so relevant. And yes, no other task, then we start more and more to shift it on virtual meetings. So this is how
Let's say I'm selling now insurance for your company. I have 5 days of work a week. How much of that time am I going to spend traveling, and how much of that time entering in data in a system, and how much facing clients?
It's difficult to say in general. We calculate in customer meetings. And you have to imagine if you go to SME customers, you will have less customer meetings per week as you have private customer meetings, because preparation for a company to bring all the policies together, all the information, it takes more time, and also the meetings have a longer duration compared to private customers. We have a blended view on number of meetings. We at the moment go on 12 meetings per week per agent. That means really relevant meetings. We measure the number of time we absorb for new business and the number of time we absorb for in-force business. And there is about 65-70% of our agents that are involved in in-force business, means changing something on an existing contract. And only 30% of the time is really focused on new business, means new contracts. And to find the sweet spot between new business and existing business, this is the big secret. If you have to go to serve your customers better, or you have to take more time to existing customers than to new customers if you want to transfer your transactional customers to relationship customers.
You mentioned at the beginning agents, brokers, advisors. What's the difference between these different type of people?
Agents are tied to a company or have a close relationship. So that means they really do interactions, direct interest of Zurich. They also represent of Zurich. A broker is another approach. A broker is mostly an independent advisor, and he drives the best choice approach to the customer. That means he is looking for the best solution from different companies to serve the customer according to the deal he has with the customer. This could be best quality, could be widest coverages, or could also be best price. Whatever the interest is of the customer, what he discussed with the broker. So that means if we also serve customers better, you have to understand their needs. What is the solution they want to provide to their customers, and for what do we stand as Zurich, and for what do we not stand? So we don't stand for really the cheapest prices and the lowest quality. We are a high quality provider, means if you have a claim, you have less discussions as if you have really the cheapest provider on the market.
The way you look at the quality for an insurance product in your case, you mentioned it when it hits the claims, that's when you say, okay, we pay in a faster way. That's how you measure the quality of your insurance policy.
Not just of this, but this is the moment of truth. You personally, you really feel that you have an insurance policy in a claim, if you have a claim or something like this. And there is not just also the payment, there are also services we do for our customers. So for example, if you want to repair your car sustainability is a topic everywhere, and a lot of customers say, I don't want to replace the part if I can repair it. So we bring the car to a garage to repair, and we provide a lifelong guarantee to the customer for the repair service. So this is something in terms of quality, how we fulfill the promise that we give to the customers. Also, if the repair is not done really good first time, for example, then we will cover these costs. That these are also the differentiation factors between our brands compared to other companies. They perhaps don't focus on this so much. They focus more on price or on other parts that are important for a certain segment of customers.
Now you speak about the focus. What is your biggest challenge at the head of distribution? What keeps you awake at night?
Nothing keeps me awake at night. I have a really good team. That's all we can.
Yeah? Good for you.
It's important, but team is the most important part. Our people make the difference. We really use IT, and we make big steps forward also on the front-end side for our advisors to serve our customers better, that they better understand the risk, that it's easy doing business for them and also for agents. But the difference is with the people. And I mentioned at the beginning, develop this vision, what we have as an insurance company, but also feedback where we are or where we not are. We are also not perfect. If our customers are not happy we did something wrong, then it's also important to talk to the people and discuss with them we want to have our customers from transactional customers to relationship customers. This is the main part in my role, to engage the people, to motivate them, to provide them feedback for all the good things they do, but also where we see really room for improvement for the next steps.
So what are the rooms for improvement? Very concretely, what did you work on today and said, okay, now I have to prepare the distribution for the next year, etc. What is the actual project you're now working on, if I may know that?
So there are 3 points we are working at the moment. One is really distribution leakage. Distribution leakage is we have a lot of leads, a lot of interactions. Our agent has a lot of work to do, and really to focus that they do the right things, that they do the things we want them to do, means that they serve the customer before they do some administration tasks that can wait, that they work on the leads if a customer has a need, a demand, and so on. This is really a leadership topic because we have the underlying processes and tools. This is a part of culture work, number 1. Number 2 is continue to increase efficiency in the work we do. Means how can we absorb the administration work from the agents and give them more time for really the customer-facing work. This is a lot of analytics. What are they doing all the day? How we can take processes together, how we can automate processes today, and also how we can bring in new technologies like ChatGPT.
So you've already brought ChatGPT in your processes?
No, it's not in yet, but we're already thinking how to build it in. Okay. This could be a simple solution like an advisor for the agent if he is looking for some conditions or for some rule works or something like this, that he has his own assistant to help him find all this internal information, but of course also on the way forward to implement such engines to support the agent to doing all the stuff he don't like to do. For example, follow-up after appointment. One of the most important tasks you should do in distribution is follow-up. So if you send an offer and you follow up one time, then the probability that you write the business is 25%. If you follow up a second time, it increases already to 35%. If you follow up a third time, it increases to 45%, but if you follow up the fourth time, it increases to higher than 65%. Okay. It's hard work.
It's really about keeping at it.
It's hard work. And if somebody helps you to do this, send an SMS, send an email, hey, feel you didn't open your email or that did not get the answer yet. Can we set up a call? Huh? It makes the ease of life of an agent much simpler. And at the end, it helps also the customer really to find his decision.
You just spoke about ChatGPT, and you mentioned also the fact that you build trust by also meeting people first physically, and then later you can do online like sessions. Could you see a world, for example, where you have physical people going to clients physically, and then you have later some kind of a ChatGPT that takes over the whole process with a follow-up, sending reminders to the end client? Is it what's going to happen in distribution in the years to come?
You have to take the perspective from a view. We made about 2 years ago a hybrid customer segmentation. What means hybrid? One is life stage potential and all the things from customer segmentation. But the second part therein, the most important part, is how a customer wants to be served in a certain case. That means if you have a complex question about a product or a situation in your life, you want perhaps to talk to an advisor. On the other hand, if you have just a minor change, your address is not right, or you have a question about the bill, you perhaps just want to do a call. Also, you want to call a call center, you don't want to go there. Third one could be that you go into a portal and you have a small question about something, and there could ChatGPT come into place. And if you don't continue there on this side, then you get forwarded to the call center, to the agent, whatever your preference is. This is the future. You don't have one channel or one contact channel per customer. It depends on the situation the customer is in And there are certain segments they like more to talk to or to see a person, people older than 65. They like more to see agent because it's also social integration. It's not just about insurance. And younger people, they like just to do it quick and fix and don't have like too much interaction with the agent. They want to do it online or per ChatGPT or whatever in the future. And this is how we start to set up all the interaction plans on the way forward.
We talked initially about the whole sales process. How do you sell? Do you have any tips on how to sell and especially sell insurance?
The most important thing is trust. And trust you build with transparency. So transparency on both sides, on one hand for the customer side, what is really your need, where do you want to go, what are you afraid for, and what do you want to achieve for. If a customer don't open this information, it's difficult to give me the right advice. The same is exactly on the advisor side. If he's not curious to understand where his customer wants to go, where he's afraid for what his financial situation, living situation, and so on, it's difficult to give him the right advice. So first of all is building trust, transparency, show where you want to go and what the situation is. Second is really to explain, because a lot of customers in Switzerland, more than 65% of the people don't calculate their pension fund money to their own wealth. They don't understand the system in Switzerland about the Zurich Insurance system. So you have also to educate the customer that they understand. And third, at the end, is to provide them options. If you do nothing, what is the consequence? What is the option? What you can do according to your budget? What would be the best solution? And then at the end is the choice of the customer. And if you go this way, you build really a trustful interaction. Also have fun to educate your customers and talk to them more. And also if you are there, if your customer needs you, you have to be there and help him if you have some questions afterwards. This is the base. And all other things, processes, CRM, fleet management, leadership, is supporting only this interactual process between customer and advisor or insurance company.
And for the advisors, the key is really to enable them to ask the right questions and then understand the client, as you said, to be curious. What do you consider perfect training for advisors? What are the key elements in there?
Most of the advisors, they come from another industry. Like me, I was also in another industry before I came to insurance. So what we train our people now is no more about products and conditions, how we did in the past. We start first about customers. How does customers think? How does customers learn? What are needs of customers' life? How are the several life stages? So the newbies in our industry are mostly between 25 and 30. Also, it's difficult these days to understand what are the needs of a 60, 65-year-old customer. So this is the first one we start. Second is also not go into advice or into product. It's really the way of working. How do you do a work planning? How do you do daily goals, weekly goals? Just to optimize your work plan, because the agent works self-employed and have to do the plans by themselves. They have a lot of freedom, but they need also a lot of discipline. So we start with them to talk about this and how they can use tools to plan the day better, so tools we provide them. And then we go into the advice topics. Also, what is the situation in terms of life or in terms of insurance advices for companies, for private persons? And last but not least, of course, we go to the product, to the solutions. And this is how we build up the journey. And now it's also new to the regulation for the next years, that you have to do official recertifications for the advisor, that the customer really gets the proof the advisor visits his home is a certified advisor. Because this is no more possible in the Swiss market. I know it's in other markets still possible, but much stronger the demand for an advisor compared to the banking. In banking, you don't have regulations from the regulator that say a bank has to do a certification, not a company certification, industry certification before doing this work. And insurance, we already one step ahead that we can really guarantee that the certified advisor do the best what they can from the knowledge to advise the customers.
Is this certification something that the insurance industry decided by itself, or was that something that FINMA or the authorities imposed on the industry?
The industry did already decide this by the industry itself with the VPV, also Versicherungsberatung für Mittelausbildung, and this, also Versicherungsberufswaffensausbildung, and this is something we started a few years ago, the Cicero certification, but till yet it was just with points that we visited some training. What now will change for 2026 is that you really have to do recertifications, you have to do tests, and that really guarantees that you understand all the topics you need to understand to advise a customer in all dimensions of the insurance business.
You just do it once, so you have to do it every year? Or?
By definition, we don't know exactly what the rhythm will be, but I assume every second year.
So we're speaking about distribution here. How do you see it evolve? We touch on ChatGPT, so AI, blockchain, metaverse. How do you see distribution evolve with these technologies?
At the moment, a lot of development depends on per industry, and it's an interesting use of time cross-industry. How does other industry work with new technology? And when I take a look back, the startup scene 5, 6, 7 years ago, there were a lot of discussion that startups will disrupt the business, and indeed, it did not happen. And in other industries, it happened. So what is the reason why it did not happen in insurance? This is what I mentioned at the beginning. Insurance is not attractive for customers. They don't like to spend time for insurance. If you take the time that a customer takes for holidays, he spends about 40 to 45 hours a year to plan his holidays on the internet. Insurance, I read somewhere, is about 16 minutes per year. As you see, the attractivity level of insurance is quite complex and attractive. That means you want somebody who will help you on the way.
Yeah, but is that going to be all the time like this? Or is it just the insurance industry that has not managed to make itself attractive?
I don't think it will also not be an attractive topic in the future, because you think all the time about the risks in your life. So what would happen if your wife had to die, your husband had to die? What is the financial consequence? These are not nice things to think about. But it's relevant. So you try to spend as less time as possible, but the time you need, that you understand you can cover the risk of it. And this is why it's not so attractive for customers. It's so one of the main reasons. But when I come back to your question, one of the game changers, we started in 2019 or 2018 with Apple together to develop the iPads for our advisors. And we went completely another way, as every other company would go to develop a tool for advisors to work together with the customers. And we learned a lot from Apple, how they develop these processes. They started really with the agent. How is the interaction on every step what they do with the customer? From Monday morning, 8 o'clock, till Friday evening, 8 o'clock. And this interaction, the day of an agent, how we call this is the differentiator. And there we started to use the IT tools and the apps and the platform as a navigation system for our agents. So it's now the hybrid approach where we utilize the strength of the personality of the agent, but also the strength of digital capabilities. And one example there is, as mentioned before, the planning for optimizing your working routes, but there are a lot of other things in where we combine this. Now, the next step forward with ChatGPT, you can even more leverage this topic, or you can even build in some economic behaviorals, or that you build in advice process. Look, customers like you, they bought also this and this and this solutions, or they had this situation and found this solution. So you combine the hybrid approach as you strengthen the advice from the personality, relationship building part, but you support him with another view to find other solutions as he perhaps would find by himself. This is the big opportunity on the way forward with new technologies.
So you already have a whole team in Zurich that is working on ChatGPT, on AI. Is it just starting with ChatGPT itself?
No, in several dimensions of insurance business, we work already with AI and with some analytics. This is core of our business. And one example is in claims. When you have a heavy accident claim, these are so-called medical, and we do liability policies for hospitals. And if you have a case, if a customer say, hey, the doctor did not treat me well, and that's why I found this problems. This is a lot of analysis between this work. Just that an expert read this book and find out what is the concrete things you have to find out to justify or not justify the claim. This was already a lot of work. Somebody to read this in 2-3 weeks till he found out these are the main points you have now to take into consideration. With our analytic, we call this ZI, Zurich I, We make this analytics in 15 minutes for a whole case that we came to the same conclusion. And from case to case, we learn more. And these are also the cases where we build in artificial intelligence. The second one is we bought a company, ZScan, in the board of this company, it's a Slovenian company. And they are really focused on AI analytics with 5 cases, robotics and customer centricity, important case, fraud detection. There are 2 other cases that we built in our companies. And we saw already also how we really reduced fraud in claims, because this fraud detection engines is a little bit different in insurance than in banking, but a similar mechanism. And this is a benefit for all customers, because if you reduce the fraud, the customers have to pay less premium. And these are all the topics from the way forward, where we really in every area you can build in these new technologies to make the life easier for the company, but also for the customer, of course.
So AI seems a clear case for me for insurance, no doubt. What about the other ones, like the metaverse or blockchain? Do you see any near future for them?
But if I would know what the metaverse will be in the future, I would know what to do today. I think this is already a black hole for a lot of people. There are some test areas we did together with the customer. They built watches, they made some NTFs. We went with them and insured these virtual goods there. This is more a test run. It's also a very expensive watch and a limited exposure you have there. But you do some first steps to learn what is the metaverse, how does it work, how it will be in the future. And there are a lot of open questions about this. About the other part, there are some cases where we see this, but the regulation of financial services, this is one of the limiting factors for some technologies. And second one, our strength, what we stand for customers for, is our balance sheet. So this is the guarantee we provide to customers. If you go in other technologies, you don't need the balance sheet anymore, then you don't need also any insurance companies. But due to the regulation frameworks we have on the world, as a company with Zurich, we work in 170 countries. We have 140 different regulation frameworks we are in. But this is already quite complex, and there will not be in the near future something that will replace insurance companies or balance sheets or services for this.
Great. Thomas, we could speak on for quite a few hours on the topic. It's very interesting. We're nearing the end of our nice interview here. Is there anything we could wish you for years to come?
A lot of happy customers.
Makes sense.
I think it's important if it's not just about insurance and about the products and the customer what we serve. As a global insurance company, we are also responsible for planet. Sustainability are important topics. We invest a lot of money and resources in the Amazonia area. There's in Switzerland, by the way, an exhibition, Amazonia, where we together with the family Gato really do a lot of effort. And it's important to understand the effect of climate, not just for insurance companies with all these cats, but also for the society. And if I could do one wish, is really think every day just a bit, and I'm also not really a sustainable role model, but just a bit to do something for the climate, perhaps reduce a little plastic or something like this. And if everybody does a little small step, this is something that helps the most. Also for insurance companies, but for the society at all.
I agree with you. Everybody does a little small step at least, and we can move forward. Thomas, it's been a pleasure talking with you. So thank you very much and have a great evening.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Ciao. Cheers.
Bye.
That's all for today's episode, where we brought you some of the latest and greatest from the training, technology, and insurance worlds. Thanks for listening, and thanks to our guests for sharing their valuable insight with us. If you struggle to capture the knowledge of your experts, contact us. We'll record engaging interviews with them for you to share. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to our channel and leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. You can also find us on YouTube or LinkedIn, where you can watch the full video of this interview and many others. This interview was made possible thanks to our colleagues Laura Servadio for the coordination of this interview and Patrice Séjalon for a powerful remote interview studio based on AI. Until next time, stay safe and stay insured. Cheers!